Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the little delay and welcome to the webinar on how to complete your partner report in iOLF, the online platform used in our program Interreg Europe. I'm really glad to tell you that we have received more than 120 registrations for this webinar coming from 36 different projects. So we are expecting a lot of questions, and we are exactly here today for this precise purpose, answering your question. I'm Alexia, I'm a finance officer, and I will explain you the online process for reporting on policy instrument and claiming expenditure. My colleague from the finance team, the policy team, and the communication team are also here with me. So we've got Alexi and Eilish. Welcome to them, who will be helping me to answer your question live on stage. That's right. And we've got also on the back, you won't see them, but they're also here to help me, Josephine, Camille, and Petra. So before we start, let me give you a couple of practical information. This webinar will last approximately an hour. And we are recording the video, so you will be able to watch this video again on our website, and it will be soon available afterwards. And the focus of this webinar is on the partner report. It is not on the joint progress report and its consolidation. We already have some videos on this topic on our website. So under the section project, implement the project, and then you click on tutorials and webinars. So if you want to know more about this topic, please have a look at these videos we've got available on our website. If you are a lead partner, you also have access now to the joint progress report in iOLF as from the 1st of December. So you can see the structure of this document. And if you want to see what the activity section of a joint progress report looks like, you can access a Word template also on our website in the section Project, Implement the Project, and then Program Manual and Template. In order to explain you how the reporting exercise works in iOLF, we will show you 5 pre-recorded videos that are also already available on our website. So these 5 videos will cover 4 main points. So first, the dashboard and the contact details section, then the policy instrument section, then the partner reporting section related to the claim expenditure, and finally, what to do when you've completed your partner report. After each video, Alexi or Eilish will join me on stage to answer your question live. So please do not hesitate to ask us any question you may have, especially if you're a partner, because this is really your chance to get an answer to all your question you may have before starting off with a reporting exercise. Indeed, the timing is very accurate because the first reporting period has just ended on the 30th of November. And with the first deadline on the 1st of March, your lead partner will need to send us the first joint progress report. And obviously, to do this, you will have to submit your partner report to the lead partner. To send us a question, it's very simple. You just need to click on the tab Question in the menu on the right side. We will reply to some of your questions live. Otherwise, my colleagues who are in the backstage will also be there to regulate the flow of questions. If we are running out of time and we do not have enough time to answer all the questions we've received, please send your question to your lead partner if you're a partner, or if you're a lead partner, just contact directly your specific policy and finance officer, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. You also have the opportunity to enlarge the video to full screen mode by clicking on the top right side of the video window. Okay, it's time now for our first video on how to report in iOLF, the logging and dashboard, and the contact detail. And we will be back with you right after that.
This is our reporting system, iOLF. You can access the system from iolf.eu. And this is the login page. Once you are here, you need to fill in your email and your password. If you don't have a user account, please contact your lead partner that will create a user account for you. If you have forgotten your password, please click the button Forgot Password to receive a new one. Once you have logged in the system, this is the landing page that you will see. In this page, you have different tabs. The tabs Project History shows you the application form and the progress report that are at the moment open or have been submitted so far. The Document Center tab shows you all the documents related to your project. On the right side of this dashboard, you can see the Partner Contact Detail tab, where you can find your contact detail. Then there is the Policy Instrument Progress tab, where the policy instruments are listed. Then there is the Partner Reports tab, in which you can create your partner report. Finally, there is the Project Users tab, where all the users working on the project are listed. As you can see here, User Administration, this is the button that the lead partner will use to create your user account.
You can see and modify your partner contact details in the Contact Details section. You can see that there is a small triangle here at the right-hand side, and if you click on it, a list of versions of your contact details will appear. Even if it's the first time that you are updating your contact details, you might see several versions already. And they correspond to the application form versions that were submitted by your project. So to update your contact details, you need to click on one of the rows here. Normally we would select the latest version. We click on it and we arrive to the partner contact details section. Here you can see all the details of your organization, and if you notice that there is some information that should be updated, you can click on New Version, and this will open the tab for editing. For instance, we can change the street. We save, and we click on Submit. This has updated the contact details, created a new version of contact details that we will be able to use in the partner report. If you are a lead partner, you will have two additional tabs, Manager and Bank. Here you will be able to edit the additional contact details that are required from the lead partner. So in the Manager tab, you can edit Project Coordinator, Financial Manager, and Communication Coordinator contact details. And in the Bank tab, you can edit the bank details. You can do it in the same way we have done it for the Partner tab, just by clicking on New Version, modifying the contact details, and then by clicking on Submit. The Partner Contact Details section is the only place where you can edit the contact details. You can then use the modified contact details in your partner report or in the application form in case of a request for change. Let's see how it works in the partner report. In your partner report, you will see a Contact Details tab. You actually don't edit your contact details here. What you can do here is to select the version of the contact details from the drop-down menu here on the right-hand side. If none of the versions that you see here corresponds to the current your current contact details, you need to create and submit a new version of the contact details, but not here. It has to be done on your dashboard from the specific contact details section. If you know that you have created a new contact details version but you cannot see it here, it means that you haven't submitted it. So again, you need to go back to the dashboard, to the contact details section, and submit the version that you want to select here for your partner report. Let's select the version, and you see that the contact details tab is automatically pre-filled, and all that's left for us to do is to click on Save. If you are a lead partner, sometimes you might need to change the contact details of your partner or your contact details in the application form. However, you will never do the change directly in the application form. You will always do it from this section, partner contact details. So you will change your contact details or your partner contact details here, you will submit them, and then you will go to the application form to section V1. You can see that in section B.1 the fields related to the contact details are non-editable. So the way to update the contact details to the newest version is to go to the drop-down menu here, click, select the newest version. The contact details are updated, and you click on Save.
Welcome back to the studio. With me, Alexi, my finance colleague. We've also received an interesting question regarding this section from Giuseppe. Giuseppe is wondering something about the contact details section. So he's saying, I've created my a new version of my contact details, and I am pretty sure I've clicked on Save, but still I can't select this version in my partner report. What did I do wrong? Alexi.
Okay, that's a good question because we often receive this question. First, it's important to remind you that the only place where you can change your contact details is the contact details module. This is the only place you need to go when you want to revise them. Then second point, regarding the service question, there is a last step that you should think about when you want to use this new set of contact details you just created. You have to first save those contact details, and then you have to submit them. So you have to click on the submit button, and then you will be able to select this version of contact details in the partner report. But if you forget this last step and you don't click on submit, then you will not be able to use it. So please don't forget to click on submit. Okay,
so the question was important, but the answer simple. Okay, since we don't have any more question on this section, it's time now for our second video on how to report in iOLF the policy instrument.
In addition to the partner report, which includes the financial information, every partner should report on the progress made with the policy instrument. To do so, you go to your dashboard and you scroll down to see on the right-hand side the policy instrument progress. You can open here the policy instrument report. There's one report per semester, which is in line with the joint progress report, and the report covers all the policy instruments. You can create the report whenever you want, and it can be done by any partner. Now it created report on policy instruments for PR2 and also for PR3 because we are already in semester 3. Anyway, now we are interested in the reporting for progress report 2, so we select the report on policy instrument for PR2. First, you can see the overview of all the policy instruments with the respective partners. So let's say we are partner 2, we are responsible for policy instrument 2, so we select this policy instrument. In the upper part we see all the information and the general features which was already provided earlier and which is now blocked. When we scroll down to the subsection policy change, we can actually report on any achievements. So let's say in this semester we achieved the first policy change. We select here yes, and the text fields become editable. So we fill in the text here. And when we are done, we save. And in order to make sure that we did not forget any mandatory field, we can check via this button. No errors found, so everything seems to be filled in correctly. We can go back to the lists, and we see here a green check sign, which means that the reporting for this policy instrument is completed. The information filled in this part is transferred automatically to the joint progress report, and when all partners completed the information, so basically when all the policy instruments have the green check sign here, the lead partner can log this section for editing.
Okay, so we are again back in the studio, and I have now with me Eilish from the policy team. How are you?
Very well, and you?
Good. Okay, we are again waiting for your questions. If we don't reply to a question live, my colleague in the background moderating the chat will do this. Meanwhile, I do have a question for you, Eilish.
Okay.
Is it obligatory to fill out the policy instrument report?
Okay. Well, I mean, the idea of the policy instrument report is to capture the results, which is the reason you're doing the project. So in this sense, you need to fill out the policy instrument report whenever you have a policy change or an interesting policy development happening in your region that should be reported in the progress report. In particular, for the first progress report, it's very important that you fill it out because we need to capture some general information about your policy instrument. So, for example, whether or not it's a European Territorial Cooperation Programme and the territorial scope of your policy instrument, so the NUTS classification. So this is why it's definitely obligatory in the first progress report, and also from the third progress report onwards, we require each region, so each partner, to report back per policy instrument on the progress they've made in developing the action plan and in making some interesting policy changes happen, because we need to see that the cooperation is useful. So in short, yes, it is obligatory.
Good.
Yeah.
And could you tell us who should fill in this part of the report?
Sure. So first somebody needs to create the policy instrument report, and to do this either the lead partner or any one of the project partners can click on the button in the report on policy instruments module in the iOLF. So whoever wants to work on it first. And then really the project partners themselves should fill in the report for the section relating to their policy instrument.
Okay. And for example, me as a project partner, how do I fill in the subsection on the general feature of a policy instrument?
Okay, well, the first question you need to answer is whether or not the policy instrument is a European Territorial Cooperation Programme. So by this we really mean the Interreg cross-border or the Interreg transnational programs. So this is a yes-no question that you need to tick for each policy instrument. And then the next part, we're asking you to identify the territory covered by the policy instrument. So if, for example, your policy instrument is a national operational program, you're probably going to fill out the country level and the NUTS 1 level. If, however, it's a regional operational program, in most countries you'd be going down to the NUTS 2 level. If your policy instrument was a local strategy, you would go into more detail and then identify the NUTS 3 level. So you really need to identify the level of NUTS that corresponds to the area covered by your policy instrument.
I can see that. Thank you very much, Eilish. I can see that in the meantime, we've received an interesting question related to the policy instrument report and if you're an advisory partner.
Okay.
So are advisory partner also required to fill in the policy instrument report?
No, there is no section in the policy instrument report for the advisory partner because the advisory partner does not have a policy instrument. Their reason for being in the project is to support the rest of the partnership with a very specific task. It could be exchange of experience, it could be communication. They themselves, as advisory partner, are not working on a policy instrument, so there is no section for them in this part of the report.
Okay. Very interesting. Okay, and now how do I submit the report on policy instrument?
Okay, well, there's no submit button as such.
Okay.
Basically, the project partners need to work directly in the policy instrument report to fill in the section for their region. And this is transferred in real time to the joint progress report. So the lead partner can see if the different sections have been filled in the joint progress report. And at a given moment, so whenever the lead partner has set an internal deadline for all of the project partners to have filled in this section, the lead partner is able to lock the policy instrument report, which gives them an opportunity to check the quality of all of the information the project partners have provided. Because even if this section is filled in by the project partners, remember that the lead partner has the responsibility to make sure that the information is provided, that it's correct, and that it's at the level of quality the program requires. Because if it's not good quality, it could lead to a delay in the progress report being improved.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, I think we've got time for one last question, and we've actually received one question yesterday by email.
Yes.
It is a question maybe a bit more specific and technical, but could be of interest to all of you. Eilish?
Yeah, we received a question by email from Daniela Migliari, who is asking about the self-defined performance indicator that you see in the progress report. Daniela is asking, in case the project partners realize that the self-defined performance indicator is no longer appropriate to ensure the effects of the action plan on their policy instrument, can it be changed or can another indicator be added? So thanks for this question, Daniela. Indeed, the self-defined performance indicator that you have provided in the application form is automatically appearing in each section for each policy instrument in this in the joint progress report section on results. So basically you can add an additional self-defined performance indicator, but only in the moment where you have a policy change to report. So basically you cannot change the self-defined performance indicator until you have successfully impacted your policy instrument. But in that moment, we will ask you to describe the policy change and the impact on the territory that it has created. And that is the moment where you can click the button in the progress report, add new indicator, and you can give us a new indicator which best captures the change that has happened. So it's really a change that we only want you to do in the progress report when you have already delivered a result in the policy instrument.
Okay, thank you very much, Eilish. It's time now to move on our third video on how to report in iOLF, the creation of a partner report and the list of contract. Eilish will stay with us, so if you still have a question on the policy instrument section, please do not hesitate to use the question tab available with the webinar. Thank you, and we will be right with you after the video.
To create a partner report, please click on the Partner Report button. The Summary tab will open, where you will see your project title, your project index number, partner name, partner number, and before you can proceed further, you will need to indicate there your reporting period. Let's indicate the reporting period start date and end date. And here please note that for technical reasons it is not possible to change the end date of the reporting period. So please, before you save, double check if you have selected the right dates. We click Save, and all the remaining tabs of your partner report open. You will have to fill them all in before you can submit the report to the first level controller. In order to submit the report to the first level controller, you will see a button just next to the Save button. It is called Submit to the FLC, and when you have completed your report, you will be able to click on this button. Another button just next to it that will activate later on is also Submit to the lead partner. This button you will use when you will receive the certified report from your FLC, and you will be able to submit it to your lead partner. Let's now go through all the tabs of your partner report.
The first tab of your partner report is the Activities Summary tab. In this tab, you can describe the activities that you have carried out during the semester. This tab is very important for your first level controller because your first level controller can find here the information about the activities that you have carried out during the semester. Please note that the information you provide here will not be automatically transferred to the Joint Progress Report. Indeed, the Activity Summary tab of the Partner Report is not replacing the Joint Activity Summary of the Joint Progress Report. However, the lead partner can use the information that you provide here to fill in the Joint Progress Report. In the tab List of Contracts, you can list all the contracts used for the implementation of your project for which a contractual agreement exists. To add a contract in your partner report, you just need to click on the Add Contract tab. Then an automatic tab will open for you. As you can see, an automatic number is generated for your contract, indicating your partner number and the number of the contract. Here, several kinds of information should be provided. Some of them are mandatory. To see which information is mandatory, you can save and check. As you can see, these tabs are highlighted. So it is mandatory to indicate the supplier name, the contracted amount of your contract, excluding and including VAT, and if the contract is above or below the European threshold. If the contract is above the European threshold, please click this box. Also, you should select the procedure applied for your contract. The list is provided and specific information on the different type of procedures for public procurement are listed in the tab below. Also, we ask you to indicate the type of contract, choosing the Works Services Supplies type. In case you want to provide some comments on your contract, a free field box is provided.
The contracts you register in your partner report will be visible also in the following partner reports. You will not be able to edit the contracts that you have registered in previous report. However, in case you have signed amendments related to the contract listed in the list of contracts, you can insert these amendments in your list of contracts by clicking on the blue cross here. As you can see, this opens an amendment for your contract, and these amendments is also visible from the contract number, which is related to the previously reported contract. For your information, all the contracts above the EU threshold will be automatically transferred and included in the Joint Progress Report.
Welcome back with us after this video on the list of contract and the creation of a partner report. During this video, we've received one question from Pedro, who is wondering whether a contract, the contract with its FLC should also be indicated in the list of contracts.
Good question, Pedro. Actually, yes. You went through a procedure to select your FLC. Then, indeed, you need to indicate in the list of contract the contract you have with your first level controller.
Okay, and maybe more generally, and just to ensure some clarity on this section, could you, Alexis, explain us when an item should be indicated in the list of contract? When shall I use, as a project partner, this list of contract tool?
Okay, that's also a good question that we receive a lot. So not all items reported under external expertise have to be linked to a contract in the list of contracts. However, as soon as you have a contractual agreement with a provider or supplier, this should be indicated in the list of contracts. So what do we mean, contractual agreement? Maybe you requested several offers for a venue, for instance, for a service, for a study, or you also send just a written confirmation via email to the provider you selected, then in those cases, you need to indicate the contract in the list of contract because this is a contractual agreement. Then, on the other hand, if you just went to the supermarket to buy some cookies for organizing a stakeholder meeting, for instance, then this is what we call one-off purchases. Then this doesn't have to be included in the list of contract. Or you are a project manager, you need to go to Sweden, for instance, for one of your project meetings, and then you buy yourself the plane tickets on the website of the air company. Then again, this does not have to appear in the list of contract.
Okay, so if I have understood well, cookies not in the list of contract, but the FLC, yes, in the list of contracts.
Yes.
Okay, it's now time for our fourth video on how to claim expenses in iOLF, and especially the budget line staff costs and travel and accommodation.
The expenditure tab contains two tables: list of expenditure and partner expenditure breakdown per source of funding. In the list of expenditure, you will list all your expenditure items. Here you have the overview, so you will see all the totals per budget line. You can see also what you have reported in previous reporting periods. To include your expenditure, you simply need to click on each budget line, and this will open a separate table where you will be able to add expenditure items. In this table, there's one field that is editable, which is the net revenue, where you can indicate the amount of the revenue that the project has generated for you. The partner expenditure breakdown per source of funding. This table, as you can see, is almost completely non-editable. It is pre-filled automatically the moment you start reporting expenditure. If you are a public partner, you can see that the partner contribution from public sources field is blocked. It's because the system will automatically attribute all your partner contribution to public sources. But in this case, if you have some contribution coming from private sources, there is this white field which is editable, and you can correct this information here. The opposite situation happens for private partners. The private sources field is blocked, and they can edit the public sources field.
To report the expenditure incurred under staff costs budget line in your partner report, you need to go, first of all, in the expenditure tab in your partner report. Then you need to click on the staff costs budget line. When you do that, the staff costs tab will open, and here you can add the expenditure incurred under staff costs budget line. To do that, just click on expenditure item here. As you see, some fields are open for you to fill in. Several fields are editable for you. For instance, let's imagine that we want to report the cost of our project coordinator. First of all, we can indicate the name of the employee, the description, the document reference, if any, and all the other information requested. In case your expenditure is not incurred in euro, you can select the currency. As you can see, an automatic exchange rate will be indicated in the exchange rate field. Let's imagine that this expenditure was incurred in euro, and let's indicate the amount for our project coordinator, Mr. Smith. If your VAT is recoverable, please tick this box, and the VAT amount will be editable for you. So now that we have filled some of the fields, let's save the information provided and check if all the mandatory fields have been completed. There are no errors on this page, then we did a good job. Let's check in the Expenditure tab what we have insert under staff costs budget line. As you can see, 2,000 euros, the salary of Mr. Smith, are indicated under staff cost budget line. This means that you can continue with this way of doing for all the different items under staff cost budget line, meaning you can add other expenditure item in your staff cost. As you can see, the Office and Administration budget line is automatically calculated as 15% of staff costs. To report the cost incurred under travel and accommodation budget line, you should proceed as we have seen under staff cost budget line. Indeed, you should go under Expenditure tab in your partner report, click on Travel and Accommodation budget line. Once you click on it, the Travel and Accommodation tab opens for you, and here you can add an item. Here you can include the information related to your expenditure in the different fields that are open for you. You should proceed as we have seen for staff cost budget line, but under travel and accommodation budget line, external expertise and services budget line, and equipment budget line, the date of payment is obligatory. So you need to indicate the date of payment for your expenditure. Also, under travel and accommodation budget line, another column is provided, the contract number. Here you can select the contract number related to your expenditure, if any. For instance, if you have a contract with a travel agency for the expenditure that you are reporting, please select the contract number from the drop-down list that is opening for you. Also, if you don't have any contract related to your expenditure, just select an A.
Okay, welcome back. We have received quite a few questions on this video, and we will try to address them all. The first one was from Cheng, who was wondering whether it is possible to report staff cost for 6 months, or should it be per month?
Okay, so that's a good question. The system allows you, to do it, meaning that you can report for one employee the staff cost on one line for the 6 months period, or you can also decide to have the salary indicated for each month on one line, or you can also decide to group for all your employees in one line. This is something you need to check and see with your FLC what's the best way to proceed, if you prefer to have everything grouped, or if you need to indicate for one employee and for 1 month the expenditure line per line.
Okay, thank you very much. Another question from Angela, who was wondering whether she should upload the employment contract of her staff.
In the list of contracts, no, there is no need for that, because the list of contracts is designed only for the external contracts you have, meaning for any external provider or supplier. So the contracts with your staff, they don't have to appear in the list of contracts.
Okay. Another question also from Pedro, who is wondering whether he could export or import as an Excel sheet the expenditure.
So that's a good point, actually, because we have a functionality in the partner report, in the tab expenditure, there is a button called export to Excel. So this allows you to export to an Excel file all the information you entered in the list of expenditure. So this is a possibility, and you may already know that your lead partners will potentially ask you to send them this document so that they can, for instance, pre-check your expenditure before they are sent to the FLCs. So yes, there is this functionality.
Good, very good, very interesting tool. We received in the meantime another question from Cheng, also again related to the reporting of the staff cost. So if I decide as a project partner to report the staff costs for one of my employees, the 6 months in one line, what should I put in the date of payment?
Okay, so if you decide to go for this option and to report the 6 months in one line, as you were saying in your previous question, then you have to know that staff cost is the only place for which the date of payment is not mandatory to be indicated, because obviously you would have several dates here. So then you're not obliged to use this field.
Okay, very good, very straightforward. So now just to be sure, do I have to send any additional documents after filling in the budget line staff cost and the list of contract?
To us, you don't need to send anything because everything is dealt through the system. Of course, the only thing you need to do outside the system is to send the supporting documents to the FLCs because the system doesn't have the capacity to deal with all the supporting documents you may have. So this is the only thing happening outside the system.
Okay, we will try to monitor the flow of question, and but for now we will move on to our fifth and last video on the expertise and services budget line as well as the equipment budget line. And do not worry if we haven't replied to your question. We will check within the video during the time of the video and come back to you.
To report external expertise and services costs, you click on external expertise and services budget line. The dedicated page opens. You can see that here we pre-filled some information already. As in travel and accommodation budget line, there's this additional column where you can indicate the contract number if it exists. And there's a new column that will appear only in external expertise and in equipment budget lines. And this column is item number as planned in the application form. So here you can associate your expenditure with what was planned in the application form. When you do it, in the description in the application form field, what you have provided as description will appear. You see it's not editable. Also, the type of cost is pre-filled based on what you have put in the application form. You will have to provide all the remaining information as already indicated for staff costs and travel and accommodation budget lines. As you can see here, there was a cost that was declared including VAT, but we checked that VAT is recoverable. The field VAT amount, if recoverable, has become editable. We have indicated it, and the total amount declared was calculated automatically by the system. Let's add another expenditure item just as an example. The contract, we don't care, there was no contract. And for instance, let's see what we have to do when we need to report something that wasn't planned. There is the possibility of choosing NA in the column item number as planned in the application form. Then in the description, as you can see, the automatic text doesn't appear. And in the type of cost, we can choose to which category of costs our expenditure belongs. Let's say we have forgotten to plan costs for some regional dissemination event, so we can choose it here. We provide description. Let me just put nonsense here, indicate the date of payment, the amount. Well, it was a small event, so let's say 1,000 euros. We save. And it's done, and we can see that the total amount appears in the currently reported tab. After you have added your external expertise and services expenditure in the list of expenditure, there is some more information to provide on it in the dedicated External Expertise and Services tab. Let's click on it. Here you can see the external expertise and services that were merged per item planned in the application form. Previously we saw that in the list of expenditure there were 2 lines reported for the organization of a stakeholder group meeting under item 3 of the application form. The 2 lines are automatically merged here. Their suppliers are merged, the total reported amount is merged. What we need to do here is provide a description, and the information on how to provide a description is indicated in the info bubble, because this description will be transferred also to the lead partner, to the joint progress report. So it is important that you read this information and apply the recommendations. For the unplanned item, you will also have to provide a description. Plus, as it was unplanned, there is a field that opens automatically where you will have to explain why this item is unplanned and justify the amount reported. To report your expenditure incurred under the budget line equipment, we proceed exactly as we have seen for external expertise and services. From the expenditure tab in your partner report, click on the equipment budget line, and then this section is open for you. A dedicated section for equipment is also provided in your partner report. So once you fill the information here, the information that you fill in is also automatically transferred to the equipment tab. Once you have correctly completed all the tabs of your partner report, you can see it because all the tabs are marked with a green tick sign. Also in the summary tab, the submit to the FLC button is now active. So we have properly filled in the partner report and we can submit it to the FLC by clicking on this button. After you have submitted your partner report to your first level controller, you can see in your dashboard in the partner reports widget that its status has changed to submitted to FLC.
Welcome back after this last video on the external expertise and services budget line and the equipment budget line. Again, we've received quite a few questions from you online, and we will try to address most of them. The first one we've received from Ines was if I buy a ticket for a steering group meeting, if I check online the price of a ticket for a steering group meeting and then I book via a travel agency, should I indicate a contract this as a contracted item under the list of contracts?
Okay, so this falls actually under one of the cases I was mentioning a bit earlier, meaning that you potentially, I guess you have a written agreement, you send an email to the travel agency saying, okay, I will go for this option, I need this flight, and I'm okay also with the price. So there is a written trace of it, so there is a contractual agreement. So this should be indeed indicated in the list of contracts.
Okay, very good. What about the reporting for example, one single one single meeting for which I have incurred like cost, for example, for an hotel, I don't know, a restaurant, and I don't know, a ticket for a local pass. How should I report this? Should I group everything? Should I detail? How should I do?
Okay, so this is a bit like the point we addressed with staff cost, meaning that we really invite you to see with your FLC, because both options are possible. You could group everything, or you could have a line for hotel, a line for plane, a line for bus. So this is you can see that with your FLC.
Okay. Another question from Pedro, who doesn't understand what item number in the application form means. What is that?
Okay, so this is important maybe to remind that when you enter information in the list of expenditure under the budget line external expertise or equipment, you have to link this expenditure to a specific item that was planned in the application form. So this refers to section E2 or E3 for equipment of the application form. So you need to check this specific section to see what are the items that you plan. For instance, item 1 is dedicated to the travel and accommodation of the stakeholders, item 2 to the cost for the organization of the stakeholder meetings. So whenever you report cost in the list of expenditure, then you need to link those costs to the type of cost planned under the section E2 external expertise or equipment if you have equipment cost.
Okay, thank you very much. We've received another question on the list of contracts. It seems that this section is confusing a bit people. So Lucille is wondering, if I have an invoice for a translation and it's a contract, is it a contract that needs to be indicated in the list of contract, or is it an external expertise and services item?
Okay, so
seems to be a bit of a confusion here, maybe?
Yes, maybe there is a bit of confusion. The list of expenditure and list of contracts have complete different uses, meaning that in the list of contracts, you list all the contracts you used or contractual agreements you have with external providers or suppliers. But then the costs are reported in the list of expenditure. So when you enter in the list of expenditure under external expertise, the cost for translation during a specific meeting, for instance, then you would also indicate that you have a contract with the supplier thanks to the column contract number. That's the only thing. So actually, they are reported in both sections. One, the contract in the list of expenditure, and the expenditure in itself in the list of expenditure.
Okay, thank you very much, Alexi. Another question from Cheng, who is wondering what is the reporting period to claim the cost, and whether it is possible to report the period 2 in May. Be careful, we're talking about the third call project.
Okay, so reporting period for you, third call project ended end of November. Okay, so all the costs that are paid out, meaning debited from your account before this date or until this date, can be included in the first progress report. If this happens after, meaning that you have costs paid out and debited from your account in December, then those costs will have to be reported in the second progress report.
Okay, so if I understood well, Alexi, so I, for example, paid the staff of my employees in December, and I will submit my partner report to the lead partner in, let's say, February, because the submission of the joint progress report is in March. But still, because it's after the 30th of November, I won't be able to claim this cost in the first reporting period.
Now you're correct. You will have to wait for the second progress report.
Okay. Let's see if we've got another question. No, I think, and we are also a bit running out of time. Maybe just a few questions on what to do once I have already, once I have now filled in all my partner reports. So all the different budget line have been filled in. So what next for me now?
Okay, maybe an important point to remind you, we have a lot of check buttons in the different tabs of the partner report. So we really invite you to use them because it's a way for you to check whether or not something is missing or if an information is mandatory and you forgot to include it. So whenever you are unsure of something, do not hesitate to make use of this button. Then let's say that you have everything ready. Then you need to submit your report to your first level controller. So you do it through the system, you send it to the first level controller, then the first level controller will receive a notification and will be able to check and certify your report directly in the system, okay? Then once the report is certified, it will come back to you and then you will be able to submit it to the lead partner so that it can be included in the joint progress report. Important point also to mention, the first level controllers coming from centralized country, so centralized system, such as Croatia, for instance, or Sweden, they are already in the system, so they will automatically receive the notification. However, if you are coming from a country with a decentralized system, then your FLC needs to have the access to iOLF through the national approbation body. So if you notice that your FLC has been approved, designated, but is still not in iOLF, then he or she should turn to the national approbation body to have access to iOLF. And then also, I forgot to mention that for some countries, Spain and Portugal, the extra step of validation also happens in the system.
Okay, so just to be sure, I'm done with my partner report, and I now need to submit the report to the FLC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to send him an email saying, okay, I'm gonna send you. He will. Everything is done now automatically, and the person will be informed.
If he's in the system again, yes,
Okay.
the FLC will receive a notification.
Okay, very good. And what about, okay, now my partner report has been certified. I am a project partner.
Mm-hmm.
I've sent my partner report to my lead partner. The deadline is coming, and but my lead partner comes back to me saying that the description of the description I've put in the external expertise and services section is a bit unclear.
Mm-hmm.
What to do?
Okay, so that's maybe already important to, at this stage, to remind that the lead partner will have the possibility to do minor changes in the reports of the other partners once they are sent to him, meaning that they are already certified. So those changes can be done because it doesn't affect the total amount certified by the FLC. So if, for instance, you notice that some descriptions under external expertise are unclear, then through the minor changes function, the lead partner will be able to update and revise the description so that it's really clear and linked to the activities, because this is what matters the most in the end. Mm-hmm. Then also, if you notice, for instance, as lead partner, that your partner have reported cost for, I don't know, travel cost for a stakeholder under travel and accommodation,
yeah.
This does not affect the total amount certified, so you will be able to shift the cost from travel and accommodation to external expertise. So yes, this is a possibility you will have.
Okay, so there are actually quite a few changes the lead partner can do in one partner report that do not require any certification. That's really good to know. Okay, unfortunately, that's all we've got time to cover for now. As I said at the start of this seminar, please do not hesitate to contact your lead partner. If you're a partner and you've got a specific question, or if you're a lead partner, do not hesitate to send us directly an email so to your specific policy officer and finance officer, and we are here to help you and to answer all your questions before the submission of your first joint progress report. Thank you very much for your participation. We are here for you to help if needed. We wish you all the best for this first joint progress report.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone, and also know that we'll also reply to the remaining questions outside the system so that you have all the answers you need.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you soon.